Hey everybody, it's Mike with Monkey Fab. Been busy catching up with all the Black Friday and Cyber Monday orders, so been a little slow to get these posts up, but still working on the BRZ. So just a quick update on that. We got the airbox done and mounted, and it's ready to go. So all we have to do is just get our pipe from the turbo down to the airbox. So that's what we're going to be working on in this installment. And I got this cool little box right here from Titanium that is 2.5 inch titanium. So we're going to be dabbling with some titanium. It's not something I've ever done before, but we'll give it a shot. I went on to Instagram and asked my buddies that are way better than me, say, you know, how do you go about doing this? You guys got any pointers? And, you know, basically they just said, you know, just treat it like stainless. It might weld just a little bit hotter and keep it shielded. So we'll give it a shot, and if it goes well, then we're going to be super happy. And if it goes like crap, then I guess we'll be doing some aluminum intakes. So hopefully the audio is better today than it has been in the past, and that's because my buddy Matt, who is a scholar and a gentleman, sent me one of his old handy cams and just sent it to me. Just, here buddy, here you go.
Hey Mike, just wanted to say thanks for all the cool stuff you've ever given me. So this opportunity I have to give something back, I am definitely going to ship you this camera I've had for years, and it records to hard drive and a memory stick. It's set up to record to the memory stick right now, so you can just record and pull the memory stick out. If you have any questions, let me know. But other than that, it has a battery, and you charge it and you hit record, and that's primarily it. It works really great. The audio is good. You can flip the screen, you can see yourself, you can see what you're filming. It has pretty far zoom, it's nice and small, and it should work great for you. It should have outstanding audio too. It's what I used to use for years until I bought my latest one. So enjoy.
That's huge, and I'm sure that everybody appreciates that. So just good to know there's good people out there in the world that are doing good things and being selfless. So you know, that's something that should be take a second, take note of, and appreciate it. So thanks again, Matt. You're my hero. So without further ado, we're gonna get to measuring and cutting and tacking and welding and all that good stuff. So follow along, it'll be fun. So here's the BRZ, and here's a little airbox that we made for it, and there's a mount I put on there. I'll be covering the last video. So it is good, and we're all happy with that. So I'll drop it down and show you guys the top and kind of what we're working with. Okay, so here's the top, just for reference. The airbox down there, the turbo is right mill, and what we gotta do is make the turbo go down through here into the airbox down there, which you probably can't see, but I promise you it's down there. And I don't know, looks like maybe about a little under 2 foot of tubing. And if we do it right, maybe just one bend. So we'll get to measuring and mocking up and all that good stuff. So here's a little better look with the bumper off, and you see here's the airbox down here, and we're trying to get the turbo, and it's just gotta snake up through here. And what we're dealing with is, let me grab a flashlight, the torch. This is the BRZ. I think I'm all speaking to all English style. So it goes from the turbo down through here, and we're kind of trying to weasel it through the white is going to want to kind of get in the way there, the little white attachment. We can always move the plug. That's not a big deal. Or we can just make it bend and fit right, which is what we're going to try to do. So I got a 2.5 inch bend stainless steel that's just kind of kind of industry standard, and it should kind of replicate the pie cuts that we want to do in the titanium. And then what I did is I took a piece of just aluminum shaving that was just some drop off my shear over there, and I kind of bent it into shape so I can kind of get a rough idea of the curves that I'm going to need. You guys see that? Yeah. So the curves that I'm going to need and where I'm going to need them, so I can kind of start measuring out this pipe. So I need about 17 inches, and I had a buddy come over and he needed some titanium for some stuff he was doing, and I cut him a piece of mine because you know you always want to be a nice guy. But that means I got 20 inches to work with. So I think I cut 4 inches off of this guy right here, a little less than 4, maybe a little more than 4, but I'm roughly working with 20 inches, so I can't have any waste in this guy. Now, the coupler is going to make up for a little bit of room, and I've already ordered the right coupler, but this is what I got to work with right now, just kind of judge distance. So the coupler will take up a little bit of space. We'll put nice little clamps on both of those guys, and then just whoop, whoop, and down, whoop, into the air filter. And then we kind of probably should make a little tabby deal to maybe use this bolt right here to kind of make sure we're holding that nice and in position. So that's what we do. Just take the little thing, kind of bend us a guide, and I think now we're going to get on to cutting pipe. Alright, so we got cleaned off the deck. I said deck of the bandsaw. I don't have a dedicated one, you know. There's all these voodoos you're supposed to do with titanium, but I cleaned up the area as best I could, and ran the blade and ran a piece of scrap titanium over the blade, so hopefully I knocked off any of the ferrous metal that's on there. I'll polish up the ends anyway, so it's not really that big of a deal. But what you see I did here is I took a piece of angle iron. It's over here. And this is great for pipe because it's got a flat corner. You can just lay it down, and that's what I did. Is I just laid it down on the pipe, drew a straight edge, and set up the bandsaw for a 4.5 degree cut. So both sides together be 90 degrees, and then I marked it kind of just for reference. What I like to do is kind of get a 1/2 inch on the smallest inside corner of each cut. And what I'll have to do is I'll have to rotate this 180 degrees for the next cut. So I get one that goes this way, one that goes that way, one that goes this way, and we'll just do a few of those so we can tack them up and mock them up. Got these guys all cut up. We, like I said before, we set the bandsaw at 4.5 degrees. So basically each one has a 9 degree cut in it. So I don't think I need quite 90 degrees with what I got to work with. You can see how this stack up to pie or into a bend, but these things are really nasty. So if you can see that, I got to go back there and clean these guys up. So it means each one of these guys here are going to have to be ran on the belt sander and deburred, and then probably ran on a woven abrasive belt to get them, you know, all the boogers that might be in the cuts or the ends of it, either from the bandsaw or from the belt sander. Just part of the deal, you know. You can't leave these guys boogered up. You can't just go in there and knock that little dill off. You want it to weld nicely, and you don't want a bunch of crap in your weld. So that's what we'll do. I'll probably get those cleaned up, and we'll take it from there. Pa. We have, as you probably saw, ran all these guys over the belt sander to get rid of all the little burrs and stuff that was on the outside edges of them, and also to ensure the flatness of them. And Then we deburred the insides with a die grinder and ran it all over a pipe polisher so that, let's see if I can do this. Zoom in. And can we focus? Can we focus? Yes. So that gives these edges a very nice, clean surface for welding. And it also hopefully gets out all the little boogers that might have been induced by the belt sander or the bandsaw. And what you see, I got these little lines on the inside because I'm going to wipe these off on the outside. I don't know how titanium works, but I know for sure on, well, most metals, if you get it hot, once you sharpie it up, that sharpie's going to stay on there, which is great if you're going to, you know, do a job for Buddy and draw a dick on it and then weld it up so there's a nice dick stuck on his catch can or whatever. Shout out to Dick Ham out there, which is hilarious. But I'm not sure how titanium works, so of course we're going to wipe this off. And what that was our line that we used to guide us in the bandsaw when we were flipping it back and forth. But it also is the line that we're going to use to establish where the high and the low sides of the bends are. So we'll line them all up for the most part, and that'll give us, we'll establish our bends as we tack these up. So, and then there's two that we cut flat. I probably should have cut 4 flat, but I didn't. I can always go back and cut more if I need it. But these have a flat side and a bend side. So this will transition the bend back into the straight stock of the tube. So that's what we got going on so far. What you will see is the fit up. It doesn't even matter where we catch this guy, we can just grab it. And the gaps are airtight, and that's the way it always needs to be when you're welding stuff. For tube, you know, thin wall tube, you need it to be just buttoned right up against each other. It's important stuff because you're not going to be filling big gaps, and I don't know how titanium goes. It's just ugly in stainless. You can tell when you do that. I'm not saying that you can't do it, but it's generally hideous. So we are here. What I think we'll do is start tacking up a few of them. So we'll tack a bit of an elbow up. What I want to do is I want to kind of mock a bend. I don't need a 90. I need a little more than a 45 is what it's looking like. Wow. It looks like I need a little bit more than a 45. So we're just going to get the bend, and then what I'll do is once we get the bend in there, you know, kind of like, let's say this is the bend, and then I'll use some stainless steel tube that I have laying around. I got tons of that laying around, and we'll kind of mock up the cut that we'll need to go, you know, the straight piece. They'll go to the bend, and that way we'll save a little bit of cutting and hacking on the titanium, which is obviously a lot more expensive than using the stainless stuff that I have laying around for the mock-up. And once we get happy that we got the right angle or the right amount of pies tacked up, then we'll just move on to the next bend. I think we'll have 2 bends in this guy, and we'll try to get those tacked up, and once we're happy, then we'll weld it out. We are about to start tacking these guys up, right, Episaurus? And so we just switched out to a number 16 GLS cup. I have a 20, but I've seen others use 16s with success, so we'll try the 16 first, see how it works. We'll just gonna tack it. Not gonna back purge the tacks. We'll back purge when we go to weld it out, but we'll tack it probably about 110 amps. It'll have the machine set for that, and I'll try to get it in 4 spots, and we'll do a few, go out and check it and see how it's flowing, and add some more if we need to, and if not, we'll go ahead and make the other section. So you went out there and saw me, you know, basically stick this in the intake, Had a little stainless steel stub for the legs of this guy, and we're pretty close. So the good news is that I also checked it against the stainless steel mandrel bend that I had, and I checked it against the template that we made off of that aluminum wire, and we're pretty close. So it looks like if we just kind of stick with that, will turn out pretty well. So I'm going to tack one more onto here. You can see how reactive this stuff is. It's interesting. It flows well, it wets out well, so that's good. But you know, you can definitely see why you got to back purge it. So I'll tack one more on there, and then we'll go out there and double check and see how we are. Hopefully that'll be good for that leg, and then we'll make one more. I feel like we're getting pretty close. So we got these stainless steels, like I said, just to mock this up. And so if we got here to here, that kind of shoots us down into the hole right here, which you can kind of see there, hopefully. See, whoop. And that gives us a little bit of play at the coupler, so there'll probably be like a 1/4 inch play in the coupler right there, and we'll just kind of give that some rotation. And using this pipe on the end of this guy, it's kind of hard. I need more hands. Like this is how this is going to be coming down, basically like this. I think with, and again you can kind of see where it's coming through here. I think with a little bit of those bends that we have over there, we can put it, set it up so it's basically here, like this, and then we'll put a couple more bends facing this downward, so it'll go just right into the air cooler. And then we'll use the little bolt right here, so before, to make a little like a support bracket. So that's the plan. Focus. So the other camera filled up, so it is being downloaded. And I didn't really record me doing this part, but I mean, it's pretty easy. It's self-explanatory. You just kind of make these center sections, the straight sections, and the bends kind of end up where you want them to be. And with this straight piece, this center straight piece, and this end straight piece, a little bit shorter here, probably about 1/4 inch, needs to be cut out of the titanium. So we'll reproduce these sections in the titanium, and we have enough to make it by about 3 inches. So we lucked out, and we're going to have enough to pull it off. So we'll go in there, cut out those center sections, we'll get those tacked in and line them up and tack them as we go. I'll kind of explain that as we go along. I'll shoot the video over top of me doing it, and then I'll show you the marks and how we do it. So we went ahead and tacked up the stagnant pipes, the pipes to this guy here. So we had our bend, and we put these two pieces on one because it doesn't matter. Put those on 360 degrees, and it doesn't really matter what difference it makes. Same with this, the little stub we got on the end of there. So now what makes our difference is this. So we're going to end up somewhere like this, but we got to double check it before we tack it and weld it, obviously, because we don't want to point the wrong way. So what we'll do is we'll just take, I had the filter down here, and you're on a tripod, so I'm going to leave you on a tripod because that's a good place to be. It's a safe place for me. And I'm going to pop this in my air filter. Maybe, possibly. There we go. And then this guy's going to go up here, and what I'm going to do is should probably try to get a piece of coupler on there. Alright, so I think this will work. I got so many turbos laying around, I found one of those little red doublers and just cut the front of it off so you can take and put it around now. And we can also stick it around now. Maybe. There we go. Butter. Like butter. So now, this, can I see this? Can you see my turbo? Can you see my turbo? The turbo is me. You can see it. So we got the pipe here, and then down here is the other piece. So we're just gonna line the two up and just make a whoop in between the two pipes. And what that will do is give us a reference point for welding. So then just line the dots up and we'll be good. Whoop. Some of those lines are a little bit crooked, but I know that last one's good because I got it. I got it. So we'll just clean that up, tack it up, and then the intake will be ready for welding. Pretty excited, pretty excited. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I see we're past the magic 20 minutes, and as you kind of watch me weld this, we're going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I think there's another part in this. I got to continue to get this pipe fully welded out, and then we're going to go ahead and put it in the engine bay where it's going to live its life happily, and mock up probably a support tab so we can have some kind of support on this. I appreciate everyone dropping by to check out the video and your support. I lost a bunch of video on this, so if some of it didn't make sense, it's because I had two cameras going, a GoPro and the new camera that Matt gave me, and my computer died, and when it died it took all the GoPro footage with it, so that had to be excluded. So there's a few references in here that had film that was supposed to go in that didn't go in, and that's just the way it goes. But hey, we just keep trying to get better with every video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one here. Check back for the next one.